Today we're looking at presence through our breath. Quite often when we're anxious or stressed or frightened, or just everyday life, doesn't even have to be anything big, we can lose not only our connection to our breath but our capacity to breathe. Quite often our breath becomes upwards and becomes upper chest breathing. And this type of breath feeds into increasing our sensations of anxiety. And also, I think there's a large proportion of humanity that avoids feeling. I think because if we stop and feel, it can appear a bit overwhelming. There's lots going on in the world, and I think that we suppress feeling by suppressing our breath. Quite often if you invite people into a healing session or a yoga class, the breathing, learning to breathe in a new way can open up the body to release emotions. And breathing can be a really useful tool for sort of navigating that flood of emotion. And sometimes people can do either healing work or come into a relaxation, a sound class or a breathing class or a yoga even. And types of breathing that we can offer them, for some people can trigger anxiety. I don't think there's much training in this area on supporting practitioners to understand that you might have a few people in your class like that, and learning ways to breathe more safely. Quite often if you ask people to go into deep breathing, it can exacerbate anxiety. So you'd want to sort of get them to come into their environment and ground more and slow and deepen the breath. Today we're going to look at just a very, very simple breath to encourage you not only to connect to yourself and your breath, but to be present with your breath. We're doing the classic 3-part yoga breath, where you're expanding the belly, the rib cage, and then bringing the breath into the top of the chest, and then going with the exhale back down. So quite often we're all breathing up here, and we want to get the breath as low down in the body and expand upwards, and then contract the breath downwards and in. So you're starting to use the diaphragm. The benefit of this is it also starts to move your lymphatic system, because the diaphragm is this dome that comes up and moves your organs, moves the lymph fluid and moves it around. So that's really good for your health. So I'm just going to read something to you about how another way that we can look at our breath rather than just the physical, and how it can help us emotionally. And it's about how the breath is very much linked to spirituality, or a connection to spirit. And this is through many cultures and for many years. And I'm just going to read you something from Nguyen Van Ly. This is part of the story of our separation. How matter and spirit became separate, and finally how life on earth became exile. Our spiritual home reached only after death. And it is true that there is this dimension of pure light and love to which we return after death, but it is also present here, hidden in the world around us and in our own soul and each and every breath. Banishing the divine to heaven was a denial of our deepest earth wisdom, a painful censorship of our memory of when we walked together with the divine in this world. This is why a simple awareness of these moments of pure presence, whether held in the beauty of a sunrise, or watching a hummingbird drinking nectar, or in the simple act of breathing, it is so healing. Once again, we know the earth as our sacred home. And now our whole planet stands at the doorway between the worlds, the outer world that we are systematically poisoning, and the inner world of the soul and the world soul, whose existence we have forgotten. As mediator between the worlds, our human presence and practice are a vital life force. Our awareness of breath and its spiritual dimension is healing, both for our individual self and the world around us. At this pivotal moment in our shared destiny, the world of light needs to be consciously connected to the physical world, and we are this connection. So I love that, the fact that you can be the mediator with your breath. So I'm going to ask you to come into presence within yourself and connect to your soul with your breath. Invite spirit in, and we're a very simple breathing technique. So you're going to start with an inhale. We're not going to force this, so not really deep breathing. We want to extend more the exhalation. This will cause a vacuum and the breath will come into the body deeper without any force. If at any point this feels overwhelming for you, just stop, come back to it, your breath through the nose, and just focus on the ground, maybe lean against a wall. So we're going to start just by coming into ourselves and our felt sensation. You can sit cross-legged on the edge of your couch or on a chair. Just pop your hands on your knee, lift your chest and elongate through the body. Tuck your chin a little so you're nice and long through the spine. And you're going to just take a normal breath in and out through your nose a few times just to get yourself present with the breath. And then you're going to bring the attention really low into the pelvis. And imagine as you breathe, you're breathing from the base of the pelvis and carrying the breath up. And as the breath comes up, the belly expands. You can keep your hands on it if you want. And then as it travels, it expands the rib cage and eventually coming up to fill the top of the lungs. And then you're going to empty from the top of the lungs down to the diaphragm and the lower rib cage, and this will come in and press back, and the belly will come back towards the spine. So breathing in, pop your hand on your belly, feel the belly expand. Then the rib cage, then the top of the ribs. You can keep your hand on your chest if you like. So now down. And then in. And then out. So really feel yourself contracting with the exhale and breathe out as much as you possibly can empty yourself. Keep the chin tucked, chest lifted. And then breathing in, lower belly. Push the belly into your hand. Expand out into the side ribs. And then lifting the chest to fill the top lungs. And then exhale, top of the lungs. Diaphragm, top of the ribs here. And the belly comes in. And again, inhaling, push the belly into the hand. Rib cage, top of lungs. And again, exhale. And really pull yourself in, feeling yourself collecting into the center of your body as the exhale. And then expanding. Expand into the belly, rib cage, top of chest. And keep going. So feel yourself very present. Feel the weight of the body on the floor, your pelvis. Really noticing your body expanding as you inhale and contracting strongly as you exhale. Notice how each time you fully empty, the breath is always there, ready to re-enter you. And see if you can get to the point where rather than mechanically breathing, you feel like you're being breathed. So the breath is entering and exiting and filling and emptying your body. You can try on the inhale, slightly pulling the top of the shoulder blades together and expanding outwards into the room from the shoulders as if you were pushing something away. It allows your rib cage to fill a little more. Breathing in to the lower belly. Let the belly fully soften and balloon. Contract the shoulder blades back slightly, push the shoulders out. Allow the rib cage to fully expand. And then finally filling the top of the lungs. And then exhaling down, lungs, rib cage, diaphragm comes up and back, belly is in. And now just coming back to your breath, so you're not controlling it or monitoring it in any way, just allowing your body to breathe. So opening your eyes and see if you feel any different, if you feel more connected to your environment, a little brighter. And you can use this breath anytime and use it as a monitor. Sometimes have a look, see where you're breathing. Is everything up here? Is the belly engaged? Is your rib cage expanding? And you can do this breath lying down if you want to. You can be supported on a bolster and have the chest a little more open. And don't be surprised or concerned if you get a bit emotional. Sometimes really using the belly and the diaphragm to breathe can release some emotions. And if it's manageable, just let the emotions come through the body with the breath and let them come through and pass.